Let's talk tits.
Let's talk about tits. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 5 of The Unusual Suspects. My name is Dan and joined with me is the very excitable, very active Andy. Hello Andy.
Hello Daniel. I'm slightly sleep deprived, but I'm going to battle through it. We're going to smash this out of the park. I'm ready.
And when was the last time you had a sleep, Andy?
2 days ago.
Are you feeling great?
I'm feeling slightly delirious, but that could be either gold or shit. We'll find out.
And also very active and very awake is Penny. Hello, Penny.
Hiya. I think I've had too much sleep, and I'm the opposite end. I'm too sleepy because I've had too much. Sorry, Andy.
No, that's fine. Dan, how's your sleep then?
That's great. I got about 3 hours last night, so I'm ready to go.
Perfect.
Yeah, welcome to episode 5. We did it, guys.
We do it every week, and then
We hit another milestone. Wait, is this legit episode 5? Have I got this wrong already? I was fucked this up.
It's episode 5.
yeah.
Okay. What's everyone been doing during this lovely coronavirus?
Not sleeping?
Week number 8, I think we're at.
Is it really week number 8? I'm sure I've been locked in the house.
Been in lockdown longer than that.
Yeah, you've been in for 12 weeks.
I haven't left my house. Oh, I went in the car last week, but I haven't left my house since the 18th of March, and it is now the 26th of May because I have old parents, so we are self-isolating.
I'm pretty sure I was the same, 18th of March.
I was isolating since September.
Yeah, that is true.
You're a pro.
You were made for this shit.
Does anyone want to go first with their segment of sleepiness?
I mean, I can, but the movie wasn't very good.
That's the enthusiasm, Penny. That's good. Woo! I'm so excited.
Only because the movie wasn't fine. So back in the day, before everything was on the internet, and if you wanted to watch something, you actually had to watch it on telly or tape it onto VHS. I managed to see part of a film, and I was probably not old enough to watch it. And it's been this weird memory for years. And because I didn't know what it was called, had no idea, didn't know what to Google, couldn't put in people record memories and stuff happens. It doesn't give you a movie title if you do that. And then Kevin Smith or someone was talking about it on a podcast, and I found out it was called Brainstorm. And I've been kind of obsessed with the premise of it for years, like since I saw it. And I've been meaning to watch it since I found out what it was called. So I thought this would be a really good time.
When did it come out?
1983.
Wow.
Wow, obsessed for a long time. Jeez.
I didn't watch it in 1983. I was bored. But
Sorry, Penny. Sorry.
I must have caught it on the TV or something, and I just remember the premise sounding really cool. I remember they could record experiences. So, like, there was a demo of them going on a roller coaster, and they could record it, and then they were playing it back to people, and you would feel like you were having the same experience.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I watched it, and it wasn't as good as
As in like a dream? Someone's dream? Or is it like...
Right, so I'll give you the synopsis.
Okay.
Researchers develop a system where they could jump into people's minds, but when people bring their personal problems into the equation, it becomes dangerous, perhaps deadly, which basically tells you nothing. So for some reason, Christopher Walken and Natalie Wood, which is slightly awkward, are in it.
Why is that awkward?
Yeah, why is that awkward?
He killed her and she fell off a boat. He allegedly
Oh, shit, yeah.
killed her. Sorry.
Yeah, let's not start apologising this early.
What? Hang on. What? I have never heard about this.
Christopher Walken and some other guy. Who's the other guy?
Hold the line, caller.
Your call's being connected.
Christopher Walken and someone else, and Natalie. I think he was dating Natalie.
It was it Roman Polanski?
No, he's the pedo.
Oh, shit, it was during the making of Brainstorm.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, full circle. Here we go.
Christopher Walken and another guy who I can picture, but I can't think what it is.
Robert Wagner.
Oh, Robert Wagner. They were all on a boat, and she mysteriously fell off it and drowned, and nobody knows what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, no one knows what happens, but she had bruises on her body and arms as well as an abrasion on her cheek. But there was no indication how the injuries occurred.
Or how you fall off a boat.
And it's just unsolved?
Yeah.
Yeah. She had traces of motion sickness pills and painkillers in her bloodstream and 0.14% alcohol content of her blood.
And no one's thought that was suspicious when she was on a boat with...
Nope.
I mean, I love him, Christopher Walken, but like That no one thought that was weird?
Yeah, it's one of those things that people know, but it's not proved. So
Yeah. Like OJ,
yeah,
kind of.
except we know OJ did it.
Allegedly.
We apologize.
We do not apologize to OJ Simpson.
I don't think we'll ever apologize to OJ.
Yeah, so for some reason, Christopher Walken and this other lady that was in it, whose name I didn't write down, Louise somebody, are making this very 80s piece of headgear to start with. Think...
Is it like a colander with light bulbs?
Yeah, but I'm thinking specifically Rick Moranis in...
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see.
That's what they start with. It's basically a helmet with things on it.
Coming out, yeah.
Yeah, and like big cables. And yeah, they've got this one scientist called Gordy, which I don't think is a name for a scientist, but there you go. And he's wearing it and he's recording it and it's feeding back into Christopher Walken's brain. They don't really explain why they're making this. I don't think they ever really do. But yeah, he goes into another room and he eats something and Christopher Walken can taste it. He goes into another room and someone plays the piano and he can hear that. So yeah, I guess they're trying to almost like a virtual reality kind of gizmo, but they don't.
The next step of it, yeah.
Yeah, they don't really explain why they're making it. You just come in and they're making it.
So why were you obsessed with this premise?
I'm really nostalgic and record everything. Like I was always the kid with the camera and the camcorder and I keep ticket stubs and everything. And the premise of you being able to record experiences. So Gordy takes it out and he does a flight simulation and he goes race car driving and he goes horseback riding and down a water slide. And then the fact that you can like relive that experience, I think that's what grabbed me when I was a kid because I was like, oh, you could record like a gig and you would be able to remember what it felt like, what it smelled like, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smell of piss.
Yeah, stale beer.
Yeah.
You can feel sweaty armpits on your face.
You joke, but how much do I miss that right now?
Yeah, I'm with you. Also, at 6 foot, I'm not normally in people's armpits. You, Pen, are definitely. If you're not in the photo pit, you're getting.
I think that's why I became a photographer, so I could see.
You could see and get out of the way of men flailing their tits in your face.
We apologize to men everywhere.
It's fine. I said it. I'm a man. I'm allowed.
We're flailing tits.
I'm a man with tits. It's fine.
So that's kind of what I remember. And then I remember that the next bit is that somebody dies and they record that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I wrote down the whole plot, but it was such an average film. Not really.
It sounds a bit like that Black Mirror episode from
I know what you mean.
Black Museum.
Oh, yeah.
There's a short part where he has a chip put in his brain and he can feel things.
Yeah.
A concept originally devised by Carl Pilkington, I believe.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I would love like I don't even want to say a remake, but like I like the premise. I would like some sort of
Well, they could do it. I mean, now they could do it a lot better.
yeah. Still, they're trying to make it for the consumer market, so it does get smaller. But again, they still don't really say why they're doing it. Yeah. So the other woman that's working with Christopher Walken, she has a heart attack. She has a really long heart attack.
Oh. I
don't know how long heart attacks take, but you know, in movies, they're usually like, and then they're dead. This one took ages.
Oh, I genuinely thought you were having a heart attack there. Jesus.
Right. She starts having a heart attack, tries to call for help, tries to use the phone, doesn't work. So she manages to get up and walk down some stairs and like plug herself in. And then she records herself dying and she records it onto a tape and leaves it for Christopher Walken to find. And then it all becomes about watching the tape back.
But does he jack into the Matrix, so to speak, and try to visualize or feel how it feels like to have a heart attack?
Yeah, well, he finds it because he finds her in the morning and he finds it and he watches it. But he feels like he's having a heart attack because you can feel it. So then he takes it off. And then he's just like, oh, well, I'll just recalibrate the blah, 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 blah.
Movie talk, recalibrate the thing.
Oh, my God. They did all these sorts of, I know it was the 80s, but these computers. And then at one point they're hacking into things. I'm like, you're not doing that with this. I don't. But yeah, he's like, oh, I'll just recalibrate it so you can't feel the feelings. And then I'll watch it.
Yeah, all right.
So it suddenly turned into a snuff film.
It reminded me, I don't know if anyone's ever seen Martyrs, the French or the English version.
I've got it. I lent it to someone.
Yes.
Dad's got your copy.
Yeah, that would be it.
It might be me.
The French one,
Yeah.
because the French one fucked me up for weeks. The English one was shit. But, people have always been obsessed with death and what happens after you die.
Yeah.
So he wants to watch it. And then the military want to get involved, obviously. I say obviously.
Why?
Because they want to weaponize everything.
God damn it, America.
They want to weaponize the feeling of death. Surely that's just a gun.
No, because if they can weaponize it and they can make people feel it, then they won't have to shoot them.
Oh, like a torture thing.
Yeah, I guess.
I'll jump back slightly because one of my notes, I've skipped bits. So before she dies, they demo it to investors to be like, look, we're making this thing.
You can feel heart attacks in a minute.
No, she hasn't had a heart attack yet. They're demonstrating the horse riding and the flight simulations and stuff. And then
PG stuff, yeah.
The military want to get involved. And then Gordy has sex with a woman while he's wearing it. So he basically makes like a porn film with it.
Right.
And he gives it to this other guy who I have no idea who he was. Not a clue. He worked there. And he watched the sex tape and then something weird happened to his brain. And then he was much happier. None of this will make sense.
What?
What I don't get, do you get the feelings that person was feeling, or do you get your... Oh, so you get Gordy's... This guy got Gordy's feelings. Okay, right.
I imagine at a metaphysical level, it would just create the amount of endorphins that the other person would have got, but you wouldn't get the same pain and physical pleasure.
I don't know. He was pretty...
From sex, sorry, what? Pain?
I was kind of referring to death there. However, stop kink shaming people. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
And Christopher Walken wears it when he watches back the heart attack. He's not having a nice time, so it definitely hurts.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but it wouldn't have given him a heart attack. It would have just been the pain sensors in his brain going like fucking ballistic.
Yeah, he wouldn't physically have a heart attack.
It's just the electrical signals in his brain.
Yeah.
No, I think he would. Well, later on, it turns out they made Gordy watch it as well. And then later on, you found out that Gordy's dead. And then there's a bit at the end as well. I think it's literally the whole experience, literally like everything. You guys basically have the same look on your face that I had watching it.
Okay.
No wonder she fell off the boat. Sorry, I apologise. I'm going to apologise for that myself.
Someone died, Andy. You can't say that.
I didn't hear what he said.
We're not repeating it. In fact, we might have to cut it.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I don't know how to come back from that.
I mean, I watched it today, so I had nothing else. So this is why you're all being subjected to it.
So like Inception, right? That's kind of a film that takes the jumping into someone's brain essentially and not essentially feeling what they feel, but seeing and experiencing what they feel in a way.
There's a lot of plot holes in it. Like, turns out Christopher Walken and his wife work together, but they are separated, but he still lives in the same house as them.
Right.
And he makes a tape of all his nice memories of them and then plays it back to her. But they aren't in POV. You can see both of them in the memories, which...
That's weird.
Yeah.
Was there someone else just watching them the whole time? That would have been an amazing twist.
That would be a great twist, actually, yeah.
Once he found out it could record feelings, he was like, oh, I'm going to record this for my wife. And it's like them on a date and them on the beach with their kid and all this stuff. And it's all very nice. But I'm like, it was them at their wedding day. I'm like, well, then whose memory is this? Because you weren't looking at yourself. Like, things full of plot holes.
Yeah.
But also, how long have they had this bit of kit built for? Because surely he would have been married, I imagine, a reasonable amount of time. How did he wear it when he was getting married? Also, imagine some prick getting married with a big fucking colander on their head.
That was the thing. He asked his wife to wear it to record something, and it recorded one of her past memories. So I think if you thought of the memory, it would pick that up too. Because he wasn't wearing it when he got married.
You won't remember the same... Well, you would remember the feelings from that memory. You wouldn't necessarily remember the physical feeling.
But memories are fickle things anyway. You can change memories.
Yeah, you could. That's another twist you could have done.
Are we rewriting this film and making it better?
Yeah, this is a rewrite.
Yeah, I'm really sad they took this premise and fucked it up. And that I've been waiting like 15 years to watch it.
You know what's a really good twist? If there is that like a sex scene between like a married couple and the guy records the sex scene, but when he goes to relive it, he doesn't give a shit because he's just like, you think in that scene he loves this lady or woman or whoever it is, but when he goes to play back, there's no feeling there.
Yeah.
And then she finds out and she kills him.
That would be better. I'd take that.
Yeah, something like that.
What?
Like when people lie or they express feel, when people show body language or telling you something and you believe is the truth, imagine if you jumped into someone's mind as they were telling you something or doing something with you, and you realize that, oh, wait, in their brain or in their mind, they're actually like going, ha 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 ha, I'm lying.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. I'm with you. That's a whole different avenue. That's a can of worms.
Brain lie in cinemas.
I mean, it sounds like a very 80s film. It sounds very much Videodrome and Reanimator sort of level.
Oh, it's not as good as Reanimator. After she dies and he wants to watch this tape and you can't watch it, they kick him out of his own thing, and then the rest of the film is him trying to watch this tape and get back in the lab, and he hacks into the lab using one of those 80s computers and like a payphone. And I know they did that in Hackers and it was great. It wasn't convincing.
Hackers was the 90s though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it made sense in Hackers, but this was a lot of buttons and wires that I didn't believe.
I'll be honest, I don't know much about hacking, but I know a fair amount about network stuff, and it really fucking bugs me, that stuff. It just grinds my gears.
You wait, because spoilers, Hackers is in the hat, because I fucking love that movie.
Let me tell you how much it annoys me, Penny. Recently, Dan and I and our good friend Sam were playing Warzone, and in one location there's a server room.
A non-video game, people, that is a video game.
Yeah, it's a video game. There was a server room, so I gave him a tour of the server room and then pointed out all of the flaws with that room.
I went to the 25th, some anniversary of Hackers, and I went to the Prince Charles Cinema in London to watch it with a bunch of strangers. I went on my own, and they had a Q&A from the director afterwards, and watching Hackers in a room full of people is great because they all laugh at how old it is. And they all laugh in the same places about how silly it is, like them hacking in using payphones and things. But yeah, it's in the hat, so you're gonna have to watch it, mate.
I love that shit. I think it's fun.
Yeah, it hasn't dated well, but it's still a great film.
I'm going to rip it a new arsehole.
Let's get this over with, because this is rubbish. This is available if anyone actually wants to watch this. I watched it on YouTube, so there you go. Yeah, it's just all about watching this tape. So he hacks into the lab. His wife is in a different place, and they're talking on the phone. They're trying to they know they're being watched and listened to on the phone, so they're talking to each other like no one would know what was going on, and it's the worst acting ever. She's like, oh, I miss you, and he's doing something else, and he's like, tell me a story, and she's like, well, once there was a man and he fell in love. It's so bad.
Once was a man.
Jesus.
Yeah, the bit where he hacks into the factory is great because the assembly line starts going nuts. Robots start attacking people.
Of course they do.
Doors get locked.
Yeah.
People are smashing doors. The photocopiers throwing stuff out. The robots chuck a bunch of barrels all over the floor that have water activated foam written on them, which I'm not sure why you would have in a lab.
To put out fire?
Yeah, foam puts out electronic fire, but they were water activated, because then another robot goes nuts and spurts water everywhere, so the foam will go off.
What fucking factories?
It becomes like a completely different film.
Does the foam expand?
Yeah, but then it just looks like bubbles.
I don't know why that's a weird thing for me to ask. I've just realised that that's totally irrelevant to the rest of the film, and it's just me trying to think about it.
Trying to give a bubble bath.
Yeah, they're big barrels of mating.
That's a reference that only a few people will get. Come on.
Doesn't matter.
It made me think of Austin Powers, when he's running around somewhere and Christian Slater's got orange sherbet and he's trying to get the car out.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
It had that kind of feel to it, and it was really silly while he was hacking in.
But this was a serious film.
Yeah, so Christopher Walken and his wife and someone else are trying to hack in, and then he runs to the factory to get the tape, but they're all too busy being locked in their rooms and distracted by foam, so they don't notice that he gets there. And then I've lost interest at this point. It's nearly done.
I don't know how you find these films funny, but Jesus, they're so good.
I can't believe I've waited this long to watch it. We should have never bothered. So he takes the tape, and then he was watching it outside. Seeing as how it's not a tape, it's literally like a reel of... It's not even a reel of tape. It's like a reel of space age.
Like film tape.
Film?
Well, it looks like a reel of film, but it also looks like a bunch of cables. It's probably...
Like fibre optics?
Yeah, it's sciencey. The whole film was very sciencey. Maybe that's what I didn't understand.
The whole film sounds a bit bullshit to me.
Yeah.
I think what's happened is that they're just gone right, what's technology?
Yeah.
Wires, foam.
Robots in factories.
Robots in factories.
Payphones.
Christopher Walken. Payphones.
I'll find some pictures and put them on Instagram for when this comes out.
Can't wait.
because it looked very fancy, but 80s fancy. Yeah, and then I was bored at this point, and then for some reason he's outside with his wife. He's got the headset on, which is now much smaller. It looks like over-ear headphones, but behind you, so it goes back that way, and it just...
Right.
Okay.
And he's hooked it up to a payphone, and he's watching it through that.
What? He's got a payphone in his garden.
I love internet, bro.
No, he's outside the factory. He runs in and gets the tape, and he comes back out again. This is the worst episode. I just didn't have time to watch anything else. I'm really sorry, everyone.
I mean, no, this is gold because I'm getting annoyed at how shit it sounds.
Oh, you get annoyed at anything.
Well, that's also true.
But he gets to watch the tape, so we get to see what it's like when you die.
So the whole time he's trying to get this tape, he's making sweet promises to his wife, and the only thing he wants to do is watch a tape of his mate dying.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
He's like, I'm a scientist. I need to know what the afterlife, what it's like when you die. What do you see? What happens?
Nothing. You just go blank.
No, not according to Brainstorm.
What happened?
Oh.
Before he watches the whole thing, there's a few flashbacks. At one point, there were some like intestines and some scary things, and you're like, "Oh, did she go to hell?" But then it was space. Basically, you see her; she's floated out of her own body, and you can see her dead in the chair, and then she floats up, and then you can see the Earth, and then I've just written then ... space ? And it's just like 80s graphic of space and some bright lights. And then I'm assuming what is supposed to look like heaven. Lots of lights, and Andy's face is amazing right now.
Oh, they went down the heaven route.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like little things that look a bit like angels. And then he dies. Spoilers.
Then he dies.
He dies. And his wife's like, no, you can't die. You promised you wouldn't leave me again. And he's like dying. And then you're seeing all the lights and stuff. And you're like, oh, fuck, he's going. The tape has killed him. And she's so mad at him. I thought you'd like this, Andy. She gives him a middle name.
Oh,
She uses his middle name.
wow, that is serious.
Yeah. And she shouts at him. She's like, you promised you wouldn't leave me. Christopher Anthony Walken, or whatever his character's name was.
I'm surprised he didn't go for Jemima again.
No, it was... What was his name? I don't even care enough to remember. His last name was Branch.
Don't leave me, Branch.
His name was Christopher Walken Branch.
Yeah, something like that. And because she shouts at him enough, he watches the tape and he dies and he sees all of heaven. And because she middle names him, he wakes up again and he's fine.
Oh, fuck off. Really?
Oh, fuck's sake. No. Oh,
They're both making the same face.
now I'm pissed off.
That's a shitter ending than Hatchet.
Yep. Then he wakes up and he's fine. And like they hug and they kiss and whatever. And he's like, look at the stars. And then they're hugging and kissing and credits. And that was an hour and a half of my life, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean,
Why? Why would you go all the way to the end? I would give up in the first half an hour.
she's committed. That's why.
Yeah. I thought I could make this funnier, but apparently I couldn't.
I mean, I've got some issues, but I think I need to watch it.
Like, how do you find these movies with these weird plots? Like, you always find them. Like, I do find like weird films, but you find plots that are just like,
Well, I told you how I found this one.
yeah,
Yeah, it sounds like a fucking fever dream.
A lot of my favourite films, and possibly a lot that came from The Hat, just used to go down to the video shop when I was like 15, went into town, and there was like the secondhand video shop. And mostly I would head for the horror section and go, oh, look at the cover of that, and pick that up. I know there's at least one film in The Hat. You know when you used to have the trailers beforehand?
oh yeah.
And if it was the same kind of studio, you'd get a lot of the same trailer before your
Yeah.
video started. And I was like, I need to find this film. And that one's in The Hat. I won't tell you what that is.
Can't wait. It might come up later.
Yep. There's a couple of films in The Hat that I actually watch on long haul flights, and they have become two of my favourite films. The random shit that's on a plane that is not necessarily mainstream or whatever.
It just sounds like you've got like a direct link to shitty B movies, which I both love and appreciate, and also it frustrates the shit out of me because they never make sense.
IMDb shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always been that weird kid that watches weird movies that nobody else.
Yeah, I quite like that. Never change, Pen. Never change.
They're harder to find now, you know? There's so much shit everywhere. It's harder to get through.
Yeah.
It's hard to find the good shit within the old shit.
Well, Elvira, as we'll talk about later, is good shit.
Questionable about that, but yeah. we'll
Watching it today, I was like, oh, there's a lot more tit jokes than I remember.
we'll debate that later.
So I guess the summary of that is if you remembered part of a film from 15 or so years ago and you find it, don't watch it. It probably wasn't that good.
Very good advice.
The whole place has gone up for grabs. Someone has bypassed the control system. The production line is going crazy. Cut Brace's phone. Arrest him. Yes, sir.
I'm going to bring us on a downer with my...
This is going to be awful, isn't it?
No, because I know Andy is going to just pick us right back up again towards the end. I'm going to end on a happy ending, as they say. So I guess it's a bit more something we haven't really discussed, but it's kind of something that is close to my heart because I do love the cinema. And currently, obviously, what's happening at the moment, well, we haven't got cinemas really at the moment. So I found a thing, or it was a report that was done by like a independent survey that was sent out. It's mainly for UK. I don't know about the rest of the other countries, but it's mainly for UK cinemas. I think they surveyed like over 400 individual CEOs or managing directors of cinemas and stuff like that to see how our cinema experience is going to be when they eventually open. Obviously, we record these in advance. I don't know if the cinemas are open when you listen to this thing. Obviously, I hardly doubt it at this point. Probably not until at least.
But the shops are opening in a couple of weeks, so you never know.
Get shopping, guys.
Don't do that, you'll die.
No, don't do that. We apologize. Don't do that. You will die.
Didn't they say you're allowed to go shopping, but you're not allowed to touch like the clothes?
Yeah, you're not allowed to see your parents, but you can still go to the shop and see the fucking idiots that are also out.
Definitely trust everyone in Primark not to have corona. And I love Primark, so I'm not apologising for that.
Can't wait to get a steak bake.
Yeah, in fairness, I am genuinely jonesing for a steak bake and a Subway. I've had proper cravings for a double cheeseburger for the last 2 weeks, as I've messaged Penny pretty much every day.
Guys,
I told you to make your own.
It's not the same.
It's better than go to McDonald's.
Greggs do frozen steak bakes. I had one last week.
Yeah, but then you've got to go to Iceland, and having worked in the Iceland near me, I can confirm it is piss poor.
Iceland deliver.
We apologise to Iceland.
We've had sausage, cheese and bean melts and steak bakes last week, and they were good.
Yeah.
So anyway, the UK cinemas are at a real loss here. This is a bit of a serious take, but I think it's worth discussing because obviously we talk about movies and I think the majority of us still go to cinema. I mean, I go like 2 or 3 times a month, right? And I love going there. I know some people will be like, well, the future is Netflix on demand, getting our movie straight away. And no, I don't like that at all. I like the cinema experience, which is probably a future feature. We've all had horror stories from cinemas. I've had many.
Yeah.
But I guess 8 times out of 10, it's all right. I guess.
As I've got older, I have started to dislike the cinema more and more because I can't dictate what other people are going to be doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I just seem to be more sensitive to things like background noise. I can hear someone chewing like 40 seats away and it annoys the fuck out of me.
When I was self-employed, best time to go to the cinema is like the middle of the day when nobody's there. And it's great, but now I have a real job. And I can't do that anymore.
Just a very quick horror story for you. I once went to the cinema, our local cinema, and a guy turned up with a packet of crisps. And I thought, it's fine. It's just one packet. It was a fucking 24-pack multi-pack. He ate the whole thing in the first hour and then started moving his feet around in fucking rustly leaves. It was one of the worst things I've ever experienced. I was surprised he got in the fucking seat.
Guy next to me, when I went to see Shape of Water, pulled out a Tupperware box full of pasta and it fucking...
Wait, sorry, pasta?
Yeah.
What the fuck? All right, we'll just talk about some horror stories before I move on to my thing there. Go on, Penny, sorry.
The Cineworld near me has the studio screens, like the small ones.
Yeah.
And there's like 25 seats in it or whatever.
Yeah.
And went to see that. And everyone has like the back row because there's only like 6 rows of seats. And if I sit too close, I can't fucking see anything. And he sat down next to me. And I'm like, there's people either side of me. This is not what I wanted. Never mind. And then, he pulls out a Tupperware box, pops it open, and it's full of like tuna pasta or some shit.
Oh, that's the worst kind.
That's going to stink. Oh, God.
And then we got caught trying to sneak a Nando's in once, and that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I remember a mate of mine getting a bollocking for trying to take some popcorn chicken in. And her argument was, well, it says popcorn, it's fine.
Of course.
Because you're allowed to take your own food in, but it's not hot food.
Yeah, don't take hot food in.
Even though the Nando's was in the cinema, and it's because we were running late. But we got told off.
Having said that, they do, well, most cinemas, well, at the big chain ones, I would say, they have like nachos and hot dogs and hot food like that, but no one really eats it.
No.
Has anyone had a hot dog in a cinema?
No, I've had nachos, not hot dog. The best cinema near us, Dan, is the Duke of York in Brighton
Shout out.
because they serve beer.
Like the Prince Charles in London.
There's one in Lewis as well that does like table service.
Oh, I think there's one in Chelmsford and you can sit in big sofas.
Yeah, they've got big sofas and they bring in like fresh pizzas and stuff.
Prince Charles will do, we went to a screening of Lost Boys and you got a slice of pizza and a beer with it. That's pretty good.
Does sound like the dream.
But then I also saw Lost Boys in an actual cave. They gave us like Chinese food in a carton to eat and there were bats flying around. It was awesome.
That sounds more like a nightmare.
No, it was great. We had beanbags, had a little nap, I think, at one point because it was really cozy.
My only horror story I remember right now is there was a guy who, I don't think it was something really crap comedy wise. It might have been Minions, I don't know. But he laughed at every joke that was in it, like anything. Like if someone fell over, it was like, like right in front for 2 hours. I can't remember the film, but it was a tailor-made kids film kind of thing, Disney probably. And he laughing every fucking time and nearly wanting to rip his head off. But yeah, I also saw someone fall over with popcorn down the stairs, which is also kind of fun.
I just don't like people enough to go to the cinema. I have to go when it's been out for like a few weeks, so it's quiet.
Yeah,
because I can't trust people.
Well, anyway, moving on from that, we might not have any more cinemas after this. So essentially what this was, it was like an independent survey about how cinemas are going to be different when we go back and how long realistically, if they're actually going to ever survive, if they're ever going to be the same, what's going to be needed to change in the cinema when it officially opens, if they officially open. An interesting fact was probably the most interesting one. 41% of them say they can't open because of the social distancing measures that would have to be put in. So one of the things that they are suggesting is obviously you're not going to sit next to anyone.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Which, yeah, is a good... when I pick a seat online or wherever, I don't click next to someone like ever.
It really annoys me when they won't let you leave one.
Yeah.
They're like, I know they want to sell that ticket, but fuck you if you want to go with your friend. I want to go on my own.
I get really annoyed when you're trying to book 3 tickets and there's an aisle of 4 and it won't let you sit there because you've left one.
No, it's not my fault.
On more than one occasion, I've bought the 4th seat and just so no one else can.
Well, another reason why they can't open is because the building itself. Either it's a small cinema, it's cramped, or, it doesn't have the space, so they won't be able to do social distancing, which is another reason why they couldn't open. They believe that worldwide cinemas, there's going to be a 50% loss in capacity once they open. At full capacity to social distancing capacity, 50% loss, which is pretty big for cinemas that are already struggling. And the majority of venues think September is when they're going to open. Which is still a long time away from now.
I'm not convinced we'll have any venues or anything open before then.
No.
Yeah. On top of that, because of that, there's going to be, they think, a 20% increase on prices as well.
Yeah, they're going to have to make that cash back, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then aren't they all having an argument with Universal right now? So who did the Trolls movie? The latest.
Oh, God.
DreamWorks? Was it DreamWorks?
Yeah.
But whoever's the distributor, I read somewhere that...
Sony?
Maybe it was Sony. That because it was due to come out just at kind of the beginning of this, they put it out digitally to buy instead.
Yeah.
And obviously right at the beginning, and there were a load of kids at home and stuff, and it made a ton of money. So they were like, might not bother with cinemas. We might do... Because normally you have to release it at the cinema, and then there's like a window, and then you release it digitally for the cinema to make the money. But now they're going, might release it digitally at the same time. And cinemas are kicking off.
I actually think that would be, for a cinema goer, I think that'd be beneficial because you'd get all the fucking idiots watching it at home and you get the people who are genuinely interested in the film.
No, you won't, though. You won't.
But the cinema doesn't get any of that money. Sony gets that money.
I'd rather pay a premium to go to somewhere where the experience is a bit quieter and a bit more special.
Yeah, but they're not going to kick out, as you called it, fucking idiots, out before they get in.
No. What I'm saying is, if there's a choice between going to the cinema and paying like 15 quid or it being on Netflix and you've got to pay 3 quid to rent it, they'll just rent it there. They'll watch it on Netflix instead. They'll use VOD.
That's the problem. They're saying because they want to do that, they're going to cut out the cinemas. The cinemas are going to die out because people will do that instead.
They've done a lot of things recently with films that are only in theaters as well before the corona hit. So they did a lot of exclusive to cinemas, which I'm not sure how that works because eventually they land on Blu-ray, right?
Yeah.
Most films do anyway, but I remember seeing a lot of films advertised only in cinemas. I think that's just like a slogan that makes you think, oh shit, I need to go to the cinema. Something like that.
I'm sure the head of Cineworld was like, well then, if you do that, Sony, then we're not going to show any of your movies in our cinemas because...
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
If everyone could just watch it at home without going to the cinema, they're not going to go to the cinema and then there won't be any cinemas.
But I think people still would go to the cinema. I just think the numbers would obviously be reduced, but they would hike the prices up. But I would still go to the cinema if I knew it was going to be quieter and there were people who are genuinely interested in film and the appreciation of film, instead of people who go to get pissed up, chat, text, throw popcorn at other people.
At you.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get that in a big cinema like Cineworld, like Prince Charles you will.
Yeah. And maybe I'm specifically thinking of the one that's around the corner from me, which is an independent cinema.
I don't see the big cinemas being... I think what cinema is going to be 2021-wise is a experience you have to kind of travel further. Like there's going to be limited options in your town now. Like I'm so used to having, you know, in the nearest city, 2, maybe 3 cinemas, you know, 2 chains and a independent one. It's going to be more a case of 1 maybe in 2021.
We've got one in Southend and Odeon, but Odeon's a shit.
Yeah.
We apologize.
Cineworld is half an hour away from me.
Yeah.
And that's the one we always go to, but that's a mission.
Okay, so there was another thing they asked. So they pretty much gave a bunch of questions to all these cinema owners and they said, tell us how you feel. And they gave a general kind of synopsis of this is how the majority of them, big and small, it wasn't just small venues, it was, you know, your large venues, your small venues. 3 months maximum survival. Most venues feel like they would only survive a maximum of 3 months with social distancing measures on place.
Not long, is it?
No. If they were to open, and the majority of them has said they were September, we think they said they're going to open. But the other problem that they outlined was, is anyone going to go if they open in September?
Probably not.
Probably not, because the actual experience of it is going to be kind of ruined. It's going to be really weird to go in and stay away from people, and a bunch of other stuff like fresh popcorn, gone.
Yeah.
They're not going to make fresh popcorn anymore. As I said, 20% increase of costs, 50% lost capacity. There's going to be face masks for staff, so obviously PPE they're going to have to do for staff there. Hand sanitizers everywhere. No physical tickets, no cash sales. Face masks for customers is what they're thinking of doing as well for everyone. Like when you get the 3D glasses,
Oh, yeah.
in a weird way, everyone gets a face mask, sits in the seat, and then leaves and takes the face mask off or something like that.
I really hope they combine the face mask and the 3D glasses into one sort of gas mask sort of thing.
It's a disguise.
Yeah. Look like Groucho Marx.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of things on here. It just literally came out today. I was going to talk about something else, but this literally came out today, and I thought it's an important thing because we may not have cinemas in the future, which is sad. I know a lot of people at the moment are doing drive-in cinemas, old school drive-in cinemas. There's one in London, I think that's opening up soon. But the problem with that is not everyone's going to be able to do that. Location-wise, obviously, you need space to do it.
Someone invited me to one on Facebook and they're like, what do you want to see us play? Like Grease and Cats and The Greatest Showman. I was like, none of these ever.
Oh, yeah. They can only show one at a time. That's the thing, yeah, as well.
Yeah, and they're not going to show anything. I mean, different if they were doing it in the long run, but they'd show one new release. You're like, I don't want to see any of this shit.
Yeah. They're not going to be showing the Human Centipede, are they?
Maybe I'll start my own drive-in cinema. Jenny got a projector for her birthday. Maybe I'll steal it.
We apologize to Jenny. Your projector is going to be stolen in a few weeks. Probably already gone after this podcast comes out, so too late, sorry.
They watched it the other night, Last House on the Left. I was very proud of them. In their garden. Hoped their neighbours didn't see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it looks like, for people wondering, by the sounds of it, 23% of these, like 400 or so managing directors and all this from cinemas, said 23% of them said September. The next largest was August. Then it was 2021. So it might not even open until next year, but we don't even know financially if they'll survive until that long. So I don't really know. I know this is a downer, but it's more of a reality check of like how things are going to change when it starts opening because, you know.
Well, it's an important thing to think about, and it's sort of something I hadn't really thought about. I mean, obviously, Penny and I talk a lot about gig venues and music scenes sort of dying, but I kind of hadn't really thought about this stuff. And certainly those independent cinemas are going to struggle.
Yeah, even as for gigs and stuff, it's going to have the same sort of, I mean, you guys, your specialty, but yeah, they're going to have, I guess, the similar social distancing, I guess. I don't know how you can do that at a gig, though.
Well, they're starting to, Penny will know better about it. They've been scheduling stuff for September for the last few months. I think that's all going to move.
Yeah, when this all started, obviously shows were just moving. It was March, so I was moving shows till September, October. And that's the thing, they've got to move an entire tour.
Yeah.
So I don't think I don't think anyone will go because you cannot social distance at a gig. You know, I'd rather not go than them, I don't know, put markings on the floor, and I can't get my head around how you would do it.
No, and the cinema will be the same. You'd have to keep so far away.
Yeah, I mean, you could have one person with 2 seats either side of them at the cinema kind of thing. But
you'd also have to have them in front as well, so someone doesn't cough on the back of your head.
Yeah, but I don't know how you would do it with a gig. I don't think people would go.
No.
To be honest.
Yeah, that's the problem with this is same with cinema and gigs. It's just, or any event, I guess. If we put measures in place, it's not going to have that feeling of why we like it so much, you know?
Yeah.
It's going to feel like we're too worrying about everyone else to focus on, you know, the movie or the gig itself or something, which I find a bit...
I think they should just draw, no they can't, but just draw a line under like this year and start looking at next year. But obviously they need the money to survive that. So I don't...
Yeah. That's what they've said. It put on here as well. They asked everyone what support could they use so that this really bad things don't happen to them, as the most that they said was government grants.
Yeah.
For, I mean, every cinema. They've also asked, the second most wanted thing was reduce distributor terms, which I believe is just in terms of the studios they deal with for the movies, or in terms of distributing the movies, the cost that it is for distributing at the cinema.
Yeah, it will be.
Which I don't think studios are even going to, because they're already going to struggle themselves. I don't see them doing that either. And also, the third most thing is a furlong extension scheme until the end of the year for cinemas as well.
That's it. I know with venues, some of the big companies like Live Nation and AEG and things like that have got together as companies to help save the industry and work out what they can do, because one, it's, you know, Live Nation is a worldwide company anyway.
Yeah.
But they're banding to get to see what they can do, because I don't know how much government money you can get and things. So it would be good if cinemas and things could, I don't know, do something similar, try and...
Well, if you were in charge, what was it? Say if there was a grant available to keep the cinema alive, but you needed to get people in the door, what would you feel like, okay, that's okay for me to go to cinema. I don't feel like this cinema experience is ruined by doing this sort of thing. I mean, I know we're going to sit in separate seats, which is fine. We already do that anyway because we don't like anyone. So there you go. Sorry. Apologize, everyone. But I guess I would still go to cinema if there was social distancing measures, and I don't mind wearing a face mask watching a film. I don't want to be in a room with people where I'm not wearing a face mask, especially.
Yep.
But I know I'm a very small percentage of people who, and I know, like Andy said, in a weird, the idiots way, in a different way.
I don't trust people to do what they're told.
That's the thing. And I've seen stories of people kicking off in streets because they've been told to, you know, stay away from Mind the Gap, and they didn't, and they've kicked off. And there's some people that are just going to get frustrated over time because it's going to go on for a long, long period of time. So,
well, we've both seen what's happened at our local beaches, and we're all near a beach, and they've all been fucking heaving, and it's just going to get worse.
Southend Beach was on the news, and I can't watch the news anymore. But someone was telling me how they interviewed a woman and she'd come down from Manchester. It's a 6-hour drive. Our beach ain't that nice for a 6-hour drive. Like, it really isn't.
Sorry, Southend Beach.
Sorry, Southend Beach.
No, I love Southend, but it's not a lot of sand. It's a lot of stone. It's not that big. Like, it's really long. But like, everyone wants the end by the ice cream and the theme park and stuff. It's just rammed, and I'd drive 6 hours for a gig, but I can't think of a beach in England I would drive 6 hours to.
English people, man, they just chase the sun, or beach in this case.
It's at this point that I remind everyone that I am half Scottish.
And I am half Irish. Sorry, Penny. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't looking for like the almighty answer to guys, help me out here. Let's save like the Avengers. Let's save cinemas together. But it's more of a case of like it's something to be highlighted because obviously we don't know what's going to happen, and obviously cinemas is just one fraction of all the other things that are going on that are going to change in the future. Obviously, you know, as like gigs and events, other events that are going on, but I don't know. I don't know how it's going to feel, especially next year. I don't know how the world's going to be, and I don't know how cinema experience is going to be and all that, but it's strange.
The thing is, us saying, like, if you're not sitting near each other and you're wearing face masks, and we're like, I'd be all right with that. I'd be all right with that in the giant Cineworld near me.
Yeah.
As much as I love Prince Charles, Prince Charles is tiny. Like, yeah, they've got a bigger screen, but you're all very close together. The small screen upstairs, I don't know.
Maybe all these cinemas will end up moving the seats further forwards as well. So getting rid of a few rows and moving them forwards so people actually get some fucking leg room.
I don't have long legs, so I'm all right.
That's all you care about.
It is. I mean, I really like going to the cinema, but I am put off by knowing that when I get up as the credits roll or after the credits, I'm going to be hobbling out like an old man.
Does your independent cinema have a membership? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't think it does. Weirdly, I live next door to the manager, so I'll knock on his door from 2 meters away and ask him. We'll just shout over the fence.
Because Prince Charles has a yearly membership, I believe. It's like £10 a year or something. And then it's £50 lifetime and you get 2 free tickets. They do members screenings, certain films for like £1 or £2, special events, and then you get money off of the food and the beer and the stuff. So I have a lifetime membership, even though I actually don't go as often as I would like. But stuff like that for independents, you know, they sell T-shirts and they sell bags and stuff, and they have a podcast and stuff, but maybe like a sort of membership where you give back, or you know, like Cineworld's Unlimited, but on a smaller scale.
Yeah. So they have a monthly income coming in pretty much from everyone.
Yeah, like I think I bought 2 or 3 yearly memberships with the Prince Charles before I went, why am I doing this? And just bought a lifetime one for 50 quid.
Yeah, and to be honest, I would do the same. And the chances are I would still end up paying for tickets anyway, because
I've had it for a couple of years, and my 2 free tickets, they don't count towards special screenings or anything, which is usually what I will go to. So I still have the 2 free tickets that I haven't used yet, and I've paid for everything else. You get a couple of quid off the ticket price if you're a member.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do a lot of special screenings and stuff like that I'll go to instead. That's when we saw the Scream Marathon overnight, so that was great.
Yeah, I know the one in Brighton does similar things, because they did the extended cut of The Shining on Halloween a few years ago.
Oh, nice.
And a Q&A with Chuck Palahniuk, and then a viewing of Fight Club. But the one in our town doesn't do that. Does weddings, though. So, you know.
Yeah, like the Hackers screening, and they did the Heathers screening last year, and the director and one of the Heathers was there and stuff like that. They do sing-alongs.
Sing-alongs, that sounds up Andy Street, isn't it?
Sing-along Little Shop of Horrors. Come with me next time.
No.
You love musicals, don't you? And anime.
No, I do not.
Just no.
I'm trying to be polite here.
I always try and use the Kevin Smith toilet when I go there.
There's a Kevin Smith toilet. What, the Prince Charles?
Yeah. I don't know if there's one in the dudes, obviously, because I've not been in there, but there's one in the ladies, and there's pictures of him in it. And I like to have a wee with him when I'm there.
Get that clipped.
I'd have a wee with Kevin Smith anytime.
Yeah, we'll send that to him. He'll love that.
Yep.
This is great material.
I do think it's an important discussion to have, though, like the health of cinemas once we're out of this.
Yeah.
As I say, it's something I hadn't really thought about, because it's not necessarily my priority that I look at every day, but it is something we should look after. We've got a good heritage of film in this country anyway.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we let that slide and we lose all those indie cinemas, then, you know, it's detrimental.
I don't want to live in a world where it's straight to Netflix.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As convenient as it is, and it's probably where we're heading, it's not the same.
Yeah, or a cheeky Nando's and then straight in to watch the next Fast and Furious film at the cinema.
Oh, man, I miss the cinema so much.
You just miss the Taco Bell.
Taco Tuesdays.
It doesn't seem to be as much fun. Like, maybe I just haven't noticed, but there's a lot of fundraising going on for music venues.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be. I think there's an indie cinema on Canvey, but I don't think there is anyone anywhere near me. So I would say Prince Charles is my one, and they have some stuff, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of funding. And
I imagine they're getting lottery funding, because lottery funding does a lot for the film industry, so they might be trying to prop up the actual venues. But I don't know.
Like I gave money to Colchester Zoo because Colchester Zoo has got a butt ton of money to spend feeding the animals and they can't open. So, if I had an indie cinema near me, I'd chuck them some money.
Yeah.
Obviously, with venues, we know there's the Venues Trust doing stuff at the moment. Don't want cinemas to get forgotten about too.
No.
When they do open, guys, everyone listening, try support them. I know it's probably going to be weird, and I know there's probably going to be weird social distancing measures that are going to put people off, but during that time, that's probably when they're going to be evaluated, should they stay open or not. So,
Should we get Unusual Suspects branded hazmat suits? Like cinema hazmat suits.
Just for us three?
Like, the ones you wear when you like decorate and stuff. We could like...
So everyone's going to the cinema looking like Walter White.
Yeah, but they'll be safe. That's what I mean. They can go to the cinema in safety.
I mean, I'm not against it, to be fair.
Yeah, sure.
I want everyone to be able to go to the cinema.
You do the research, Pen.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's know the costs.
Come back to me on Monday with the figures. Whatever ends up being, I'm sure they'll survive, hopefully, at some point. But whatever ends up being will, at least, if you know a local cinema or there's one near you, try at least help it out, is all we're saying, I guess. Anyway, Andy's going to pick us right back up with a ball of energy.
Well, look, we're oh, fuck it. Okay, we'll do it. I was going to say, I was looking at the time and thinking, yeah, we've still got Elvira. However,
Don't worry about it.
ladies and gentlemen, here's another round of higher or lower. Hit the theme tune!
Higher or lower? Definitely not stolen this from another game show. Higher or lower?
Stupid fucking game shows we're coming up with on the
Please give
Unusual
me
Suspects.
money for my family.
Someone put that in post. Excellent. Good job.
That'd be funny.
Well done, Pam.
You're welcome.
Okay, so higher or lower, we're doing revenues again this time. And the theme for this week is video games.
Yay! This is fixed.
It's higher or lower. You can just go higher or lower.
Do you know the last video game that I played? Genuinely.
It's not video games, it's video game adapted films.
I've only played Mario Kart ever, so go easy on me.
The last one I played was Lego Jurassic World. Thanks very much.
Unfortunately, Jurassic World is not on there.
Good, because Chris Pratt's rubbish.
So I'll start you off with a nice easy one. I'll set the baseline. The first film is 2002's Resident Evil, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, starring Mila Jovovich. So,
Baseline.
its worldwide revenue was $102,984,862. So feel free to write that down.
It's all in my head, man.
102,984,862.
Great podcast content.
I'll have a consonant, please, Carol.
Okay, so that's your baseline. The first film up, 2008's Max Payne, directed by John Moore, starring Mark Wahlberg, Mila Kunis, and of course, Ludacris. Higher or lower, please? Let's start with Dan, as Penny looks confused.
This film broke my heart because I'm a massive, massive Max Payne fan, so I'm going to go lower, and I hope it's lower.
Penny?
I don't know this movie, so I'll go lower too.
You are both correct. It was $85,416,905.
It shouldn't have made 8 million. It was that bad. Jeez.
It had one of the worst endings I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the whole premise of it is the slow-mo, which they didn't really use.
Yeah, that was a gimmick in Max Payne games, and put it in the movie. Why not? So, yeah.
The next film is one that should definitely be up Penelope Street. 2005's Alone in the Dark, directed by Uwe Boll, starring Christian Slater, Tara Reid, and Stephen Dorff.
Oh, Tara.
Fucking Christian Slater. And I love Stephen Dorff too.
I know you do, that's why I put it in. Higher or lower than 85 million?
I feel like I've seen it once and it wasn't that great, so I'm going to go lower. Sorry, Chris and Steve.
I too am going to go lower.
It is lower.
Yes. How much?
10 million.
Oh, God. Ooh.
I'm just going to give rounded numbers now because, frankly, reading out all the...
I'm going to say you have problems reading out numbers.
All right, next up, 1993's Super Mario Brothers, featuring friend of the podcast, Bob Hoskins.
Good friend. I'm going to go higher, please, Carol.
Yeah, higher or lower than 10 million?
Higher for me.
It shouldn't be, though.
I know, but Super Mario Brothers, the name alone just...
Yeah, higher.
Why am I giving you hints?
No, I was going to go with higher. It just makes me sad. Higher, please, Andrew.
It is indeed higher. It was 20 million.
It wasn't much higher.
No, it was fucking dreadful. Okay, 2008's Far Cry, again directed by Uwe Boll, featuring Til Schweiger. I think that's how it says his name. Higher or lower than 20 million?
Wait, there was a Far Cry film? What?
Yes. Uwe Boll has made his career on making video game films.
I will go with higher.
I'll go with lower because I had no idea there was a Far Cry film. But yeah, lower.
It is lower. With less than 750,000.
Oh god.
I had no idea there was a Far Cry. That's weird. Well, that's why I made less money because obviously Dan didn't know and he knows all. So. Yes, I am a prick, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, 2007's Postal.
Great film.
Also directed by Uwe Boll, starring Zach Ward, J.K. Simmons and Vern Troyer. Higher or lower than 750,000?
I don't know this one either, but
I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever played this game. I'm not sure I know it.
I have.
what lower would be well lower. What was it called?
Postal.
Higher. I don't know.
Postal 1 and 2 is pretty good. I've seen this film. It's a higher for me.
I believe it's based after the second game, and it is lower. 150,000.
No.
Yeah. Let me tell you how much it cost to make.
Okay, it's not a good film, by the way. It's a really shit film, but it's kind of funny if you don't take it seriously.
It cost 15 million to make. That was the budget.
Oh, God.
Worldwide, it brought in
My God.
$146,751 worldwide.
It was good production in it. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. It looked like a lot of money was spent on it, but yeah. Wow.
Okay, next up, 2005's Doom, featuring Dwayne Johnson, Carl Urban, and Rosamund Pike. Famous, of course, for its first-person view, which they didn't really characterize. I mean, it's not really a Doom film, is it? It's just a name.
I like the twist. No spoilers. I like the twist in it, but that's all I'll say. I'm going to go higher. Definitely higher.
Yeah, me too.
It is higher. It is 55 million.
Again, it's a rock film, so you know what to expect from a rock film. That's pretty much what it is. Sorry, Dwayne.
Okay, 3 more left. We've got a clear leader. Detective Pikachu, which this was last year, 2019's Detective Pikachu, directed by Robert Letterman, starring Ryan Reynolds. Higher or lower than 55 million?
I'm going to say higher.
Me too.
It is higher. 433 million.
Wow.
Big return.
That's a lot of Pokeballs.
Indeed. Okay. 2018's Rampage, based on the game of the same name.
Another rock film.
Yeah, directed by Brad Payton, who also directed something else that we watched the other day, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, no, he didn't. No, ignore me. He directed Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore. That's not it.
Classic. Masterpiece.
Yeah, starring The Rock, Naomi Harris, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Higher or lower than 433 million?
Lower.
I think this is a trick now. It's got to be lower. It's lower than Pikachu. Nothing beats Pokemon. Lower.
It is lower. 428 million.
It's close, though. Yeah, geez, that's a lot.
And finally, and Pen, you have the chance here to tie break if my maths is correct, and I've kind of guessed the scores as we've been going along because I haven't taken a note. Duncan Jones's Warcraft, starring Dominic Cooper, Toby Kebbell, Clancy Brown. Higher or lower than 428 million?
I'm gonna go lower. 'Cause
I'm going to go higher.
Ooh, interesting.
Warcraft nerds, there's loads of them.
Now, one of you has got the right answer, obviously, because it's higher or lower and there's only 2 of you.
Oh, wow, really? I didn't know.
Rampage was 428 million. Warcraft, 439 million.
Yeah!
It is the highest grossing video game of all time
Really?
at this point, according to Wikipedia when I checked it a week ago. Also depends on when Wikipedia was last updated.
Yeah, I would have thought a lot of World of Warcraft nerds saw that, so yeah. Sorry, World of Warcraft people. Well, thank you very much, Andy, for your first edition of Higher or Lower.
Congratulations, Dan, on your win.
well done.
Thank you very much.
Commiserations to young Penny.
Your check will be in the mail tomorrow.
You've won a brand new car!
Wait, what?
Moving swiftly on.
Higher or lower? Definitely not stolen this from another game show. Higher or lower?
Stupid fucking game shows we're coming up with on the
Please give
Unusual
me
Suspects.
money for my family.
Let's talk tits.
Let's talk about tits. So we all watched a movie out of our hat. our hat, collective hat, called Elvira, Mistress of Darkness.
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
I can't pronounce her name right. Whatever it was, I don't know. It sounds the same. I don't know.
She's a cultural icon. Get her name right.
She was maybe, 30 years ago? Probably not now.
When I Wikipedia'd her earlier, she's still doing loads of stuff.
Yeah, I'm surprised you've never met her at a con, Pen.
I have, but not dressed as Elvira. She was just Cassandra, and I was the first one in line to meet her that day, and I fangirled, and she was lovely.
Bless you. I've got nothing to add to that. Sorry, I felt like I should have had more to say, but I don't.
She was very nice.
Good.
I would like to meet her dressed as Elvira, though.
I'm glad we don't need to apologise to her. That's important.
So anyway, this film. So small background context, I guess, is needed. She was a TV host, and she used to host B-movie films. Is that right? Horror B-movie films?
Yep, that's probably why I love her, because B-movie films.
B-movie, horror B-movie films.
Yeah, there was Vampira and Svengoolie, and it used to be a thing. I don't know whether it was on like cable late shows or something like that, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
She was in a Pee Wee Herman film as well.
She was.
We don't talk about that guy.
We don't talk about it.
And I also found out she dated Elvis for a little while, so that's exciting. That was my fun fact.
What, Cassandra or...
Cassandra.
Wow, that is weird.
The person who plays her, not the actual character.
Well, I don't know. It could have been like a really meta,
No, I don't think they did like a crossover movie
That would have been amazing.
like Elvira and Elvis.
I would watch that.
So this film, Penny, it was your choice, so yeah. Talk about it.
I thought we were doing because I've seen it. You guys,
Okay, yeah. So why did you pick this film?
because I like this film. I don't know. I'm not sure where it's come from, but I've loved Elvira for a very long time.
I can see why.
Did you still like this film in today's modern day? As in, the jokes, they still all hit?
Not all of them. Last time I watched it, I was high a couple of years ago, and I watched it this time having to take notes. Didn't have a problem with it, but I was more aware of, oh yeah, this is a bit weird.
There were some uncomfortable jokes that were just a bit too on the nose, and I was like,
It was 1988, so again, slightly of its time.
yeah.
Yeah.
You were allowed to make tit jokes.
Andy mentioned to me it was like a carry-on film, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It was really campy and really silly. I don't know. I love her. Like, I have a painting of her on my wall.
Do you want me to go through the plot and we can go through it?
Yeah, believe it or not, I used to be fucking terrified of horror movies until I was maybe 14 or 15. Used to hate them, didn't watch them.
Right.
But this is like an accessible sleepover, not really scary, silly.
It reminds it, and this is a weird thing to say, considering she has her tits out most of the time. It reminded me of the sort of weird comedy films that I used to watch with my gran.
Like a carry-on film.
Yeah, like carry-on films and those sort of like very campy.
Uncomfortable silences.
No, Dan, not like that. And when I said she's got her tits out, I was obviously talking about Elvira and not my gran.
Didn't cross my mind, but thanks for clarifying.
Just nipping that in the bud.
Nip.
Not her bud. Anyway, yeah, it's just this campy sort of like almost lowest common denominator sort of thing, which I liked.
In the film when she's making jokes about those crappy horror films, I think that's what it was. I imagine it, I don't know, to be a bit like Wayne's World.
Yeah.
That kind of public access TV show type.
Yeah.
So she, can't get rights to any good movies, so they got all this shit, although they did show Attack of Killer Tomatoes at the end.
True.
It sounds to me like her TV show was successful. They gave her this movie and another one after this.
Yeah.
But I don't think, like, in terms of the plot, I mean, it's a basic plot. But the problem I had with it was that at 20 minutes into the film, I was like, haha, boob joke, haha, penis joke. And then it kept going. And I was like, I got to the second half and I was just like, the whole way through. But I did have a good chuckle. And I think for what it is, it's a very basic humor.
Yeah.
Toilet humor sometimes.
She's more of an icon than...
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were a fan of hers, I think you would enjoy it more. But because, like, me and Andy weren't, I think he's probably going to say the same thing as me.
You are now.
Like, we were looking for some amazing story or subplot or something that wasn't there.
I'll be honest, I didn't go into it thinking it would have an amazing story. I kind of thought it would be just her parading about flashing some flesh. It had more of a story than I thought it was going to,
Yeah.
which goes to show how little I thought of it going into it. But it's kind of like and I don't know if this analogy works, but it's kind of like a goth Porky's. You have some Porky's?
Yeah.
No.
Porky's is, it's like the original American Pie, but it's from the
okay.
80s,
Yeah. Something.
maybe 70s. And it's got like,
It's got John Belushi in it.
yeah, but it's had that sort of feel, like quite innocently acted, but with some pretty smutty parts in it.
Yeah.
But it delivered quite well. I mean, the basic plot of this, so Elvira needs 50k to go do a Vegas show. Her aunt dies, so she goes to this weird little backwards town in Massachusetts, and they're all very prim and proper. And obviously, she's metal as fuck with her tits hanging out.
They're not hanging out.
Just to clarify, they're not hanging out. They're just
They're in her dress.
on show. Yeah.
She's got cleavage. They're all hers as well. They're real.
Are they really? That's even more impressive.
The best joke in that film, actually, it happens at the very start when she's like bent over and one of the boys comes up to her and goes, "Do you need any help?" And she's like doing housework. And she goes, "Yeah, grab a shovel and get..."
Grab a tool and get banging.
Yeah.
That was my favourite joke.
That was my favorite joke, and that's it.
My favourite joke is when she gets hit in the head
Yeah.
thing with the cinema marquee. She gets hit in the head with one of the
Oh,
pencils.
yeah.
And he's like, "How's your head?" She's like, "Well, I've never had any complaints."
Yeah.
That's the kind of film this is.
That made me laugh. That genuinely made me laugh. But so she goes to this weird little town, and there's kind of no real arc to it. She's been given this recipe book that she doesn't really understand. She gives her poodle a makeover.
Gonk! I love Gonk.
Yeah, he's pretty rad.
Yeah, Gonk was quite funny.
In her inheritance, she gets given a dog, her great aunt's house, and a
Yeah.
cookbook.
And cookbook.
And Gonk is a poodle, and then she punks him up, and he's amazing.
But there's like a whole period of that film where nothing really happens. It's just her trying to find a job or like...
She can't leave the town because her car's broken down.
See, I'd totally forgotten about that. I'd forgotten about that till the very end. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, she had a car.
When she pulls into town and then the burning happens, which I'm skipping forward, I don't remember the middle. Like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, she goes to get her inheritance and her car is broken down, so she ends up living in this old house, but she's not going to be able to sell it like that, so she gets all the neighborhood kids to help her fix up the house so maybe she can sell it, but then she also needs money to fix the car, which is why she needs to get a job.
I never put that together.
Why do the kids want to help her out so much, though?
Because she's awesome,
Oh.
and everyone in their town is really strict.
Here's why I think they wanted to help. And they're teenagers. They're not like proper kids.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the dudes wanted to do it because she was parading about. And Robin, I guess the main female teen,
Yep.
I think she saw her as a bit of a role model because she sort of stood up to her parents and did what she wanted.
Yeah. One bit I did like about it, although they make a lot of tit jokes and her tits are out, the guy at the beginning like grabs them and says it's milking time, which is actually grim.
Yeah, that's pretty horrible.
I think they should edit that line out. It's disgusting. But she fucking kicks the shit out of him. She's like, no. And I like that that's a theme through it. Like with the real estate agent, she's like, just because my house is up for grabs doesn't mean I am. Like she doesn't take shit.
Yeah, and the thugs in the bowling alley. That made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That it's milking time, but
Yeah, it was horrendous.
because it looked like you could have milked him as well. Do you know what he looked like? He looked like the rich Texan from The Simpsons.
Sorry.
How did he look like you could milk him? Yeah,
Yeah, please explain that, Andy.
Let's move on.
I think not.
Anyway, so she her car breaks down and stuff. She sets fire to a guy accidentally.
just remember my other favourite joke.
What's the other favourite joke?
Obviously, she wants loads of money from her inheritance, and she's like, a house? I need a house like I need a padded bra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's clever, isn't it?
It's like there's weird little subplots throughout this film. Like she has to get the car fixed, she has to get a job, but then she decides to put on a film night. Is that so she can make cash?
I think just because Bob says he's not making much money from the cinema, she's trying to help him out because she fancies him, which I don't understand how he is her type at all. But anyway,
No, weird, isn't it?
he's really beige and really bland.
And she is not.
No. But yeah, I think she just gets excited because that's what she does. She talks about movies.
Yeah, I mean, she guilt trips the kids, doesn't she, into going. She says, tell them I'm more than a great pair of boobs. I've got a great pair of legs. And then my following note says, she's right.
So, all in all, there is an evil guy chasing her the whole time, isn't it? Because he wants the recipe book.
Yeah, her uncle, Vinny. Uncle Vinny.
The whole subplot is he's after this recipe book and she doesn't know what it is because she's playing dumb and she hasn't really read it. There is one bit I did like is when she uses the recipe book for Bob to make a casserole, and she thinks the recipe book is actually a recipe book. What ends up being is actually like witches, potions and all that kind of jazz.
Zebras.
And then she makes the casserole, and as soon as she serves it and opens up the lid, a fucking monster appears, casserole monster appears. And they end up beating it in the sink.
That casserole, all I remember was worms, squirty cheese, and crushed crisps.
Yeah, it's crushed crisps and something else. Cheese on top, yeah. Is weird, but yeah.
She lifts the lid and made a fucking dinosaur.
Weird because, like you say, there's the plot of she's stuck in this town and this evil guy wants the magic recipe book. And there's also this whole plot about how people just hate her because of how she looks. Like she tries to get a job and no one will even consider it. And then they've got all these stuck up people in the town that just hate her just because she looks.
I actually think that's quite a positive message that's like consistent throughout the film.
Yeah.
That and the consent stuff, like she does get judged quite a lot.
Especially in the 80s. Nice positive message.
Except for Leslie. Leslie always sticks up for her. I loved Leslie.
Leslie, he's the B&B guy, right? The old one.
Yeah, he's always sticking up for her. He's the only one that does. And Bob, obviously.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Good old Bob.
There was a flashback to where we find out that the recipe book is a spell book.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I think we knew that from the start.
Yeah.
If you got lost to that plot twist, I think, yeah.
No, I didn't. What I quite liked, though, was that there was a flashback where you see Elvira's mum as a witch and stuff.
Baby Elvira.
But you also see baby Elvira with fake eyelashes.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about that.
My makeup's not as good as baby Elvira's, and I wrote that down.
Yeah, but that was disturbing, more or less. I was like, what the fuck?
That's how you know it's
Yeah.
Elvira.
I know, but it's just weird.
Elvira finds a spell with the word moolah in it, so assumes it means lots of money. Not sure what it does, but she gets a big snake. Not a euphemism.
She thinks it's Bob, though. That was quite...
Yeah. Lucky Bob.
She thinks Bob's touching her up. I like to think, even in the dark, I know the difference between a dude's hands and a snake.
I don't think it was his hands.
No, neither do I.
Yeah. Innuendo film. Yeah, so I mean, all it ends up being is essentially the town turns on her with the uncle helping.
You mean, it's a really important spell part.
I know, but like it's a very, it's what's the important spell part?
I just wondered if you were going to talk about the potluck that they have.
Yes, I was going to.
She tries to make another monster casserole for the people in the town, and it doesn't.
Oh yeah.
And it turns out to just be a normal casserole, but that it's somehow an aphrodisiac and everyone gets super horny.
I thought they were high or it was a love potion or something. I didn't really understand.
Yeah, they got really horny and all started. Although I was quite upset that right at the beginning, she's like, "Oh, I'm going to try this casserole," and she just sticks her finger in it, and it's really upset.
That's fucking disgusting. The proper prim woman, and this is directly from my notes, the proper prim woman, ironically called Chastity, rides some dude's face like a mechanical bull. That's a direct quote from the film. Elvira cracks Patty in the face, and it turns out she's wearing a padded corset.
Oh yes.
Patty big boobs, but she's
Patty big boobs, yeah.
She's been lying this whole time.
I wasn't sure if you guys would catch this bit, but when she ruins Elvira's flash dance, she tars and feathers her.
Yeah.
You get a shot of her pointy pink shoes sticking out from under a curtain.
Yeah.
And then it pans up. And I knew it was there, but I couldn't see it on my laptop. There's bumps where her boobs poke out too.
Correct. Even better is in that flash dance bit, you see Elvira's shoes, and she's got leg warmers on her heels. I feel like you and I had a better time with this than Dan did.
Yeah, Dan doesn't look like he's having...
I'm sorry. It's just, I enjoyed the first 20 minutes of it, and then I kind of just switched off because I was like, another boob joke, another penis joke.
Penis jokes are funny. There's nothing funnier than a dick joke. Come on.
It really didn't work with me. Like, it just...
That's fine. Just talk about how it didn't work with you.
I know.
Hang on, let's finish the plot first. So after the potluck, right, Uncle Vinny says that they can charge her with witchcraft, even though he's also a wizard?
Wizard. You're a wizard, Harry.
Warlock? He's also magic. So they arrest Elvira and the dog.
Yeah, poor Gong.
Why did they arrest the dog?
Because he's technically magic too.
So they're going to burn them both at the stake, right? But they've made a tiny pyre for the dog. So they're just going to tie the dog to a stake and then set him alight.
Yeah, they're all sick motherfuckers in that town.
It's at this point where I got really fucked off because that is bullshit.
But it was all right when he turned into a mouse and escaped.
Yeah, that was cool.
And he was a mouse with a Mohican.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was impressed that they got a real mouse and gave it a Mohican, to be honest.
The teens who are her mates try and cut a hole in the roof to rescue her, except they get the wrong cell and land in an empty cell.
Which is locked, so they can't get out.
Yeah, then a priest comes to see Elvira, gives her a little touchy-touchy. He must be Catholic.
No, because she's a girl.
Good point.
Not apologising to Catholics.
She's tied to a stake. Any last words? Just one. Help. I mean, how can you not like this? It's great humour.
Dan, you should have had a smoke beforehand.
You would have loved it.
It just wasn't my kind of humor. That's it. I don't know what else to say. Like, she was funny at times, and there was times I did chuckle, but it didn't do anything for me. That's all.
I really liked it up until this point,
Is it the end? Because you hate the end.
and this is when I started to get quite frustrated by it.
You love the ends of every film, don't you, Andy?
That's the bit that you remember, and this is the bit that I were. In fairness, the actual end, totally fine with. The narrative end here, less so. So she's like tied to the stake. It's on fire. There's some kids roasting marshmallows on the stake, which I'm pretty sure is a Banksy picture. But obviously this was like 30 years beforehand.
He's starting to realise. Wait a minute.
No, it's in my note.
Well, they're all like Burn the Witch, aren't they? And they're just like, oh, we should have
Yeah.
every year. Be creepy.
But then Elvira has a magic ring that I hadn't seen at all throughout the whole film. I know that you see it in the flashback. And then she shoots lightning into the sky. Terrible CGI. And then it rains.
Yep.
But I'm not sure the rain would put out a fire like that because it would just be too hot and it would evaporate it.
She hurt the clouds and they start crying.
Might need to check the signs in that.
Might need a Wikipedia that.
Bob unties her and they do a snog. My notes are great.
I mean, there's not much to say. That's just what happens, you know.
One of my notes about Patty. Sorry, I set you on fire.
So there's also a lunar eclipse, which, I mean, that totally passed me by. I don't remember hearing about that until suddenly Bob's like, oh,
When the light becomes the night, it was in the letter that Elvira's aunt wrote to her. That's why Vinny can't have the recipe book, because when the lunar eclipse happens, you're all fucked, is what it said. You're just distracted by the boobs. It's fine. We all were.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
That's why they were there, right? I'm fired. Sorry.
I feel quite bad for Gonk because as the lunar eclipse is happening, Elvira chases Vincent or runs away from Vincent. Somehow they're together and he puts the dog in a bin.
Yeah.
It was called Chastity, a swine, and turned her into a pig, which made me laugh. Can't tell you why. It's just classic humour for me. She throws one of her stilettos, it sticks in his brain. She then uses her tits to break a big old chain off the graveyard. This film is fucking bonkers.
I had a slight problem with the shoe getting stuck in his head.
I had a problem with the shoe as well.
Because it also, you see it spinning through the air very slowly, so there's not enough power behind that to stick in his skull. But yeah, we can go with it.
So she gets away from him because she breaks a lock with her cleavage. She gets back to her house and she's running around. And Vinny throws his arm through a wall and grabs her. And then there's an axe on the wall that just randomly chops his arm off.
It was an old house. We've got a sword on the wall in the bathroom.
All right.
Just saying, it's not that weird.
In the bathroom? You've got a sword on the wall in the bathroom?
I've got a Game of Thrones themed bathroom.
What?
Dan's interested again.
Sorry, what?
We have a Game of Thrones themed bathroom.
Is that because it's a throne in there?
Yeah, but
Why the bathroom?
because I don't want a Game of Thrones themed bedroom. I don't know. Just we got a bathroom. We wanted something to do with it.
Odd. Okay. Sorry, continue.
So he loses his arm. She gets the ring back. Vinny stands on a floorboard and it hits him in the dick.
Great.
Always funny.
Yep.
Always funny.
Not according to Dan.
He tries to shoot her with some magic powers. She deflects it with the ring and he disintegrates. House is on fire. The recipe book also on fire. She runs out and the house is fucked. I mean, it was like quite anticlimactic.
She saved the day. She saved the world.
She did save the day. The town folk then come around and they're like, oh, we're so sorry. You're such a good egg. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, why did they because she got rid of the wizard guy? Is that why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually stopped she saved them from this bad guy, and we're like, and Leslie was like at the head of the Sorry crew.
Oh, I forgot to mention. Earlier on, when the kids were decorating the house, Leslie comes up with 2 brown bags full of shopping. I'm pretty sure I saw a leak in one of those.
Oh, wow. Leak watch.
I'm gonna need to check.
Shit.
There was definitely some iceberg lettuce. But I'm pretty confident I saw a leak as well.
If you haven't listened to episode 1 when apparently Leak Watch started, go back and listen to that.
Yeah. Leak watch is continuing.
Because Vinny is now dead, Elvira gets his whole estate and her Vegas dreams come true. She should have done this in the first place. Just straight up murdered him the second she met him.
As soon as she got the house, sell it, go. That's it.
Well, she couldn't sell it because they had to do it up, and then they did it up.
Why did they have to do it up? Just sell it as it is. Don't maintenance it.
It was a shit.
It wasn't worth enough, yeah.
The furniture alone could have got you money.
But also, she wouldn't have been able to go anywhere because her car was fucked.
And then she tried to sell it, and the real estate agent tried to bang her.
Yeah.
Look, put the car in quick fit. They'll get it done same day.
I don't think there's a quick fit in a tiny place in Massachusetts.
Also, Quick Fit's a bit shit. Sorry, Quick Fit.
Wow, sorry, quick fit.
She sings a song on stage, but there's a fluffy thing on her head that doesn't move when her head does, which I found really distracting.
I think it's part of the spider that's part of the...
Stage design.
Yeah,
She does a saucy dance while dressed as a bat.
she does.
Not sure if it's her actual voice, but it's not dreadful.
And she does a rap.
She does do a rap.
Oh, God.
You know what clip's going at the end of this, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. She has nipple tassels and can move just one at a time, which seems genuinely impressive.
Yeah, and the fact that she can move them in tandem.
The tassels are spider-shaped, worth mentioning, seeing as you're forced to spend a considerable time staring at them. Not a complaint. Oh, that's it. That's the end. That's the end of my notes.
I'm genuinely impressed that she can make them go in opposite directions to each other.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Apparently she can do that herself. She learned that when she was 14, apparently.
When she was quite young, she convinced her parents to let her go audition for something in like Vegas. So she's a Vegas showgirl and stuff. And
Yeah.
but then if I looked like that, I would too.
What the movie made me realize is I would like to know more about her rather than watch the film. Like, I rather like, because she seems like an interesting character.
It's more that she's the icon rather than the...
Yeah, she was the big bucks that sold that film, pretty much. So.
Yeah.
I would go see her in Vegas like any day of the week.
I mean, same. You want to go to Vegas?
Yeah, let's do it. When it's open.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
Shut right down.
It's fine. No one's there.
COVID problems.
We'll hang out with Elvira and Celine Dion.
Is she in Vegas?
Yeah, Penn and Teller in Vegas. We can hang out with them. You could tell them the other magicians, you know. We can't go see Siegfried and Roy because one of them recently died.
You can go see their tigers, though. Their tigers are in Vegas. Seen them. There's a drag show going on in Vegas, right? Well, not right now.
So what do we think of the film, guys?
I quite like it. I mean, it's silly, but it knows it's silly, and it succeeds in being silly the whole way through. So it's like a classic campy 80s comedy.
Yeah. If you know what you're getting yourself into, then that's what you get.
Yeah, I mean, like if I had a choice between that and Blazing Saddles, I'd probably go for Blazing Saddles first.
Yeah.
But also, I would happily rewatch this.
I wonder why.
For the excellent narrative.
It's also one of those fun movies that you can just stick on.
Yeah, it's the perfect sort of background film.
Gotta admit, I haven't seen the second one that she did.
Apparently it's a little bit better.
I know she helped write both of them and they couldn't get finance for the second one, and her producer husband had to finance it.
They had a budget 6 million for the first one, and the second film, they didn't make the money back. So the second film was 1.5 million budget. So that was a dramatic change.
They weren't initially going to have the Vegas scene at the end either.
Oh, really?
Until they saw the rest of it. And it convinced the producers to fund the last bit.
Oh, nice. Like, she's been on Drag Race recently, and...
Yeah, it's RuPaul's favourite film.
Of all time?
Of all time. Yeah. It's amazing what you can learn from IMDb trivia, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You picked the film, Penny. How does this rank in your Penny top 10?
Like my top 10.
Yeah, out of 10.
Yeah, out of 10.
We'll do scores then while we're at.
I'll give it like a solid 7. I think, like I said, the last time I watched it was a couple of years ago because my friends and I got high and I thought it'd be funny to put on, and it was. So, yeah, it's just one of those ones I'll rewatch every so often. I think if I was scrolling through the TV and it was on, I'd leave it on.
Mm-hmm. I would do the same. I would also give it a 7. I mean, it's like the perfect background thing that you would put on when you go to sleep.
I'm going to get hate now.
Why? You're allowed to have a difference of opinion.
Yeah, I know. As I said, I enjoyed 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes were quite funny. And then I don't know the middle bit. It just kind of wasn't memorable for me. And I remember the burning bit at the end. And boob jokes. 5 out of 10.
Do you think if they took out more of the boob and the dick jokes?
Yeah, and had less of that. I just think it got too much. Like I was expecting one every minute, and I did get one every minute. And because I'm expecting something and I'm getting dick jokes and boob jokes all the time, it's like after a while, it's just meh. I don't know. It's not my kind of film, I guess. It just didn't get there for me. I could have gone lower than 5, but yeah, I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
Give it whatever you want.
Peer pressure.
I will sit and look at the painting of her on my wall and be quite happy with it.
Fair enough, Penny. Okay.
If I'd said that, it would be really creepy, but somehow Penny's allowed to get away with it.
It's fine. I hate you, Andy. So, the film that we're going to discuss on the next podcast, at the end of episode 6, is... I will get a jingle for this fucking section at some point, by the way. We're going to watch one of the films I put in, District 9.
Oh, interesting.
We're going to watch District 9, and we'll talk about it on the next podcast.
This has been on my list to watch for the last year.
Have you not seen it?
No, yeah, I have, but just rewatch it.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched it in ages. Yeah.
Is that the one with the bugs? With like the big bug things?
Prawns.
It is. So we'll watch that next week. Penny, what's the socials? Because I don't remember them.
Instagram is at Unusual Suspects Pod, and Twitter is at Unusual Podspect.
And my Twitter.
And my Twitter is Penny_PhotoBit. I don't know why we need mine. Mine's full of retweeted videos of animals. It's got nothing to do with this.
It's true. It is a pointless thing to follow.
All right.
Mine isn't much better. So, mine is at Choices21. But don't worry, you don't have to follow it.
Wow, you guys really sell yourselves. Follow mine. It's hilarious. Mine is at Dan Talks a Lot on Twitter. And we do appreciate you sharing and listening. And hopefully you're telling all your friends that this podcast is really good and they watch semi-nudie films about boobs. And
1 and 4 were classics. I'm not sure about the ones in between yet.
Yeah, probably not the Butterfly Effect.
Don't even bring that film back up. It took me a week to get over it.
Yeah, we were all very depressed after the last podcast, or the one after the Butterfly Effect. But
Yeah.
Anyway, we're all tired now, so we're going to go. Thank you very much for listening, and we shall see you next week. Goodbye, everyone.
Toodaloo.
Pleasant dreams.
Definitely end on that, Penny. Seriously.